Hey guys, Carolina the Fit Golfer Girl here. Before we start with today's video, I wanted to let you guys know that this is not a sponsored video. I was not compensated in any way by Club Champion, and all of the opinions that I will be giving you guys are my own. Also, this happens to be a little bit of a longer video. That's why I'm going to be giving you guys an index so you guys can navigate the video better. I hope that you guys watch it all. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment. Let's get started. Hey guys, Carolina the Fit Golfer Girl here. Today we're doing something a little bit different because today I'm going to be getting a full golf bag fitting here at Club Champion. I am in desperate need of a new golf bag, so I'm super excited. Let's take a look. So what is Club Champion and what is it all about? Club Champion is the largest company-owned premium golf club fitting retailer in the United States. Today, I am at the Delray Beach, Florida location because it's really close to me, but there are 62 Club Champion locations all over the country, so the odds that you will be able to find a Club Champion near you are pretty high. Club Champion is what they call brand agnostic. That means that they have no affiliation with any brand and are committed to getting you the right clubs for your swing without any biases or interests. All Club Champions fitters go through a super rigorous 1-month-long training program at their headquarters up in Chicago to make sure that they know everything they need to know to give you the best experience and give you the right fitting. As you can see, each Club Champion location has the best state-of-the-art technology and enough club heads and shafts to create over 35,000 club combinations. This basically removes any restrictions that you might find at a big box sporting goods store or a brand's demo day. Make sure to check out their website, clubchampiongolf.com, to learn more and find a location near you. And don't forget to tell them that Carolina, the Fit Golfer Girl, sent you.
Okay.
Alright guys, so I'm here at Club Champion and I want you all to meet Lorraine. She's going to be fitting me today. So Lorraine, how long have you been doing this for? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I have actually been fitting for about 16 years.
Wow.
I started out part-time at a retail store and found that I had just a knack for it. I enjoyed it, and I took a leap of faith probably about 10, 12 years ago, full-time into the industry, and I have never looked back. I love the whole concept. I have always believed that we fit a swing. Everybody's swing is individualized. It's based on body size, shape, tape, physical limitations, etc. So everybody's going to swing a little bit differently. So just off the rack stock stuff is not going to fit everybody.
Love it. So I'm here. What do I need to bring to have a successful fitting?
Well, if you're going to be doing the full bag fitting, we recommend you bring your whole bag so we could take a look at it. We could see what you have, make suggestions if we're not changing something on gapping and things like that. We also need you, whatever you're going to be getting a fit for, to have an iron that you like to warm up with. And then the club you are being fit for. So if you're going to get a driver, you would bring your driver. You're going to bring your putter, you're definitely bringing your putter, because we need to get baseline numbers that we can make comparisons off of.
All right, Lorraine, so why don't you tell us a little bit more about the kinds of fittings that you could get done here?
Well, we do everything from a full bag all the way down to just a putter. So we can look at your full bag, or we could look at just a driver, or we could look at your long game, which is the top part of your bag, your driver, fairway woods, and hybrids. We could look at just your irons, we could look at just your wedges, or just your putter.
Those are only a few of the questions that you guys submitted via Instagram when I was doing my fitting. But don't forget that there's a whole Q&A section at the end of this video. Over there, we're going to be talking about the different kinds of fittings. We're going to be talking about who the ideal candidate for a fitting is. We're going to be talking about the different kinds of shafts and whether you should do your fitting indoors or outdoors. So make sure to check those out. But in the meantime, let's get started with the fitting. So how did it all begin? Basically, Lorraine took a minute to learn a little bit more about me and my career as a golfer. Let's check it out. Go.
I was asking a little bit about your game, your history. You were telling me you played as a junior.
Yes, I started playing when I was 9 years old. I played in college, so I've been playing for a really long time.
Okay.
After college, I kind of took a 5-year break, and honestly, it was really hard for me to get back. In fact, that's where I'm at. After that 5-year break, I've been having a really hard time being consistent, especially with my driver off the tee, which I feel like I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the equipment, but it's also very mental. So I would love to get the right club so I can regain that confidence. Also, the last time I got fitted for clubs was when I was 17, right before I came to the United States for college. And I did not do any exercising back then. So things have changed. It's funny because I still play with the same gloves. So I'm sure that these are very, very wrong for me.
Well, they can be, but we'll look at everything because your basic swing type may have not changed much. So we're going to look at everything, but we're going to look at the reasons why your clubs don't work for you, and it's probably more likely we're going to start off with just the shafts.
All right, let's do this. So Lorraine's first observation, my grips are a little worn out.
Little, slick.
I like them slick, not. So as you guys just saw, Lorraine started by asking me a little bit more about my background as a golfer, and after I gave her all that information, we started with a quick warm-up with whatever club I chose. I normally warm up with my pitching wedge, so that's what I did. When I say quick warm-up, I absolutely mean it. You're going to be hitting a lot of golf balls during this fitting, and you don't want to get fatigued in the middle of the fitting. So just a few balls, and then we moved on to the 6-iron. All fittings at Club Champion are done based on your 6-iron because it's the club that's right in the middle of the bag. If you don't have a 6-iron, don't worry about it. Whatever is closest will work too. We hit maybe 5 or 6 balls, and after gathering some numbers and some data, we were ready to take a look at the numbers. Alright, so I just hit a couple 6-irons. I just learned that you do your iron fitting off just 6-iron.
Correct.
Right in the middle of the bag. And these are my numbers. So why don't you tell me what this means?
Okay, so looking at the numbers, your club speed, and then the ones on the bottom row there, attack angle, club path, face angle, and face to path. That's your swing.
Yeah.
Those numbers don't change much with a consistent swing.
Got it.
So we look at those numbers because we want to keep an eye on them, make sure they don't get bad. If we put something that's the wrong weight, wrong size, etc. in your hands. Also, we look at it for fatigue because I want to make sure they stay consistent.
Got it.
The other numbers up on top, your ball speed, smash factor, launch angle, carry, total, spin rate, and height, I can control with either the shaft or the club head.
Got it.
So that's what I'm going to be looking at. Generally, your what we're looking at with an iron is your smash factor. Smash factor is your ball speed divided by club head speed.
Yep.
With an iron, it's usually a number between 1.35 and 1.40.
And what's ideal?
On average, we're looking at 1.38.
Okay.
So, obviously, smaller. I know a lot of people have heard 1.50 is the ideal. Well, that's with your driver.
Got it.
Irons are a smaller face.
And what is a smash factor? I mean, you just told me how to get it, but like, what does it mean?
A smash factor is how well you are optimizing that club that's in your hand.
Got it.
You're not, right now, you're not hitting that club to the best of its ability.
Got it.
Because what you're going to see a difference is I'm going to get your ball speed up. Without changing your club head speed, I'm going to get your ball speed up, which is going to lead to a little bit better dispersion and distance.
Nice.
Because I'm going to have you hit in the center of the club face.
That sounds great.
Spin rate, your spin rate is actually pretty good for a 6-iron. We're generally looking at about 1,000 per club. So that's a pretty good number there.
Yep.
We want to make sure that spin rate stays good. With the iron, we want to see a little bit higher spin rate so you can go for the green, keep it on the green, and not run it off.
Yes.
So those are the numbers that we're looking individual-wise. And then we're also, when we get some shots in, I'll show you what we're looking at average-wise, because we want to take a look at your average numbers too, being the fact that, excuse me, we're looking at optimizing your swing. So we want to make your good shots better and your bad shots not as bad. So we're going to make sure you're going to get the best out of everything.
Love it. Okay, so Lorraine right now, she's working her magic over there. They have every possible imaginable shaft in here, so she can literally put together anything she wants for me. So she was just telling me that because I currently have pink gloves, she's actually gonna go with a pink head because it looks very similar to mine, so it's not gonna be that big of a difference. Oh, there they are. Yeah.
So I'm going to see how you hit a couple of these, and I may make some changes as we go along when I see what you do. Seeing as what the shaft that you have is a little bit older, was fit for you when you were much younger, I'm going to take a look and see which way I need to go with the shaft, whether we need to go lighter, heavier. That's one of the first things we look at shaft, is the weight of the shaft.
Yeah. All right, so these are 3 different irons. My first one is, my iron is the yellow. And what were you just saying, Lauren?
I was just pointing out the difference where I had said about before about ball speed. Just by getting you into something a little bit closer to what fits your swing, I was able to increase your ball speed by 6 miles an hour, which then led to a distance of carry on average of over 8 yards,
Wow.
which also leads to a distance in your total too. You also hit this one higher,
Yeah.
which is good for going at greens. You're gonna stop it right on the green.
Got it.
So those are numbers that we're looking at. We're looking at on, like I said, this is the on average. So this includes good shots and bad shots.
Yep. Okay, so I hit 3 graphite shafts with different weights, and then I just hit my first steel shaft, which Lauren picked for me, and that was great.
Yeah, and from your reaction and from looking at your swing, I'm going to say we want to stay away from graphite. The graphite, it looked like it was taking control of your swing rather than you controlling it.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
It is bad.
All right, bye-bye graphite.
Yeah, retire in the graphite.
This is the moment that I knew that I was using the right shaft. It felt completely different, almost like my club wasn't going all over the place during my backswing, which is kind of like what it felt like with my old gloves. So Lauren likes to call this the aha moment, and she's absolutely right.
And you hit, this one we hit a little bit longer. This was that first steel shaft that I had you. It was about 105 grams. But what I'm looking at here is this circle.
Yeah, that's big dispersion.
That's big dispersion. This circle here
Shut
is
up.
so pretty.
It's
this
so-
is the one you just said, ah!
Well, you see, that's funny because I don't struggle with distance. I struggle with direction.
Right.
So I always say I'm willing to give up 20 yards with every club if I could only hit it straight. But it looks like I don't even have to give up distance.
No.
I just need to give up those stupid graphite shots.
Yeah, well, because I'm getting you to hit the center of the face.
Nice.
Because once again, here we go. We got you up to 113 on ball speed. Your smash factor on average was 1.38, which is right in the middle of that perfect number that we're looking for. So you were hitting the center of the face. This is, 10 yards further in carry. And
Yeah, that's crazy.
almost 10 yards further in everything.
Love it.
And higher.
Ooh. All right, so we found the right shaft, which is great news. Now remember, I was testing all the shafts with a ping iron that looked very similar to mine, but that might not be the right club head for me. So we went ahead and tested different heads, Mizuno, Pings, TaylorMade, Callaway, and Titleist. I have something to suggest to you during this process, is approach it with a very open mind, because you never really know what club is going to be best for you. And I'm going to show you why I say.
All right, so we're going to try a Titleist AP3.
I hate Titleist gloves. Just kidding, I didn't just say that. There's... Okay, maybe I don't
Okay, you're taking that back now?
Okay, maybe I don't hate Titleist gloves. So, as you can see, I wasn't a big fan of Titleist clubs from my past experiences with them, and that was probably because I was using the wrong shaft and the wrong head for me, and then when I hit it, it was actually pretty great. So I think this is a great example of when we have preconceived notions, whether they're positive or negative, of a certain brand or a certain club, and we don't really give it a chance. We should, go test it out at a place like this, go test it out at Club Champion, take a look at the numbers, and the numbers will speak for themselves. So it's also worth mentioning that, as you guys just saw, I was able to hit a bunch of different clubs from a bunch of different manufacturers, something that you wouldn't have the opportunity to do if you were to buy your clubs at a demo day. Also, remember, the rep is going to try to sell you their clubs because it's in their financial benefit. But the fitters here at Club Champion, they have no biases. They really don't care what you buy as long as you are in the right clubs for you.
So I'm going to eliminate the shafts based first off of the club heads, based off of your ball speed, your spin, and your carry.
Got it.
So I've already eliminated the Callaway Apex.
Yes.
We're eliminating the TaylorMade P790. And then this is what we're left with. I'm looking at spin, distance, height. So this is pretty much you could see how your swing speed, club speed stayed pretty much the same consistently. Your ball speed stayed consistent.
Yep.
So your smash factor is pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Spin, I'm going to say right there, you're in that 6,400 with the 6 iron. This is what we're looking at.
Yes.
We want to look at the height. That's the highest you hit. Now, that being said, you lost a little bit distance total-wise because you didn't get as much of a gap. Which is not bad because you don't want to get a big distance between your carry and total with an iron.
That's true. You wanted to get to the green and stop.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is that the one that I have 170, it kind of like landed and then it ran a little bit.
Yes.
Which is not ideal.
Yes, because we could look right here.
Yes.
So that's your distance there.
That's
so this has a 13-yard distance.
That's terrible. Like that could get you out of the green.
Exactly. Exactly. And it was also lower. So that's why it ran more. You had that low shot.
Got it.
So this is where we look at consistency. You hit these 3, even though that was your bad one, which you admitted it was a really bad swing, and we could tell how your face to path and everything came in. Your launch angle was a little bit higher, which means you probably hit behind it a little bit of a chunker, and that led to your carry only being 148 on that one.
Got it.
But even at that,
I mean, it stopped right away.
Exactly.
That's nice. Yeah.
You didn't lose overall on average as much distance.
Got it. Okay, so we just went through the shafts. We found the shaft, and we just went through a bunch of different club heads, bunch of different manufacturers, and we found the right one. Now, what are we looking at?
We are looking at lie angle and length.
All right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some face tape on the face of the club and sole tape on the bottom. I'm going to have you hit from the lie board, and we're going to see where on the sole and the face you hit it to determine what your lie angle and length need to be.
Let's do this.
So even though it was a bad shot, which is okay, we're looking at where you hit it on the sole of the club, which is pretty much dead center.
Yes.
Because that's a good thing. And then the face of the club, a little bit low on the face, but you're still pretty much center.
Is there room for improvement there, or is that the
There's
right?
always room for improvement.
Yeah, well.
But this goes to prove that by the shaft and the club head combination, I got you hit in the center of the club.
Love it. So I think it's worth mentioning that when I was testing Delray, and really throughout this whole process, I have been using standard length shafts. In the past, people that know my game really well have told me that I am only 5'4" and that I should probably be using shorter clubs. So I asked Lorraine to let me try a shorter shaft. Same shaft, just different length. Thankfully, Club Champion has longer and shorter shafts in the store for me to try, and I was really surprised by the result. As you can see, even though I thought I hit a pretty good shot, I did not hit the center of the club face, which means that a shorter shaft is actually not the right choice for me. So the only way to really know for sure that you're picking the right length and lie and club head and blah 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 is to come to a place like Club Champion, where you can try it all, gather some numbers, gather some data, and then you will have proof and evidence that what you're buying is the right piece of equipment for you.
So grip size. Well, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you take a hold of a grip first, and we're going to see where your fingers are touching. You want to see your fingertips slightly touching or a little bit of a gap, so you're not gripping the club too tightly. If it's the grip is too small, you're going to grip too tight and you're not going to be able to get your hands over. But then you can't go too big because then you wind up gripping even tighter to keep your hands on the club. So you got to find that happy medium.
What percentage of golfers do you think are in the wrong size grip?
Probably the average golfer, most of them, because 90% of the tour actually does something to their grip by putting tape underneath of it and changing their grip size.
Wow. After going through the whole fitting process again in my head while editing this video, there are a few observations that I have that I want to share with you guys as a conclusion. So I'm going to start by saying that I am not a golf club expert at all. If you guys need one, I highly recommend that you reach out to Brian Golf on Instagram. He's great, super nice, super knowledgeable, and he will be able to point you in the right direction. As far as my experience at Club Champion goes, I had an amazing experience. Their customer service was great. My fitter Lorraine was super knowledgeable and passionate about the subject and her job. You guys saw that. And she was also super patient, so she was able to answer all of my questions and let me try all of the things that I wanted to try, even though they made no sense. And then she was able to explain to me why they made no sense, which is great because I was able to walk out of there knowing that I exhausted every possibility out there. The fact that Club Champion is brand agnostic, that means that they have no affiliation with any brand, was also really big for me because I was able to try all of these club heads from all of these different manufacturers, and I was able to walk out of there knowing that I for sure have the right brand for me. If you were at a demo day, you would not have this. You would only be able to try one brand of clubs, and also you would have a rep trying to sell you something because it's in their best financial interest. You do not have that problem at Club Champion. Now, there are a few things that I want to recommend if you want to do a fitting like this. First of all, show up with an open mind. You know, we all have a favorite brand of clubs and a brand that we hate for no reason. Well, put those preconceived notions aside and let the numbers speak for themselves. You will walk out of there knowing that you have the right selections because the numbers don't lie. Number 2 is show up rested. This is exhausting. This fitting was really, really tiring. In fact, I was scheduled to do the whole back fitting in one day, and after a couple of hours, I was so tired, my numbers were all over the place, and Lorraine was able to identify that looking at the numbers, and she was like, you are very tired, you're not being consistent right now, you need to come back another day and finish this fitting. So I was like, fair enough. So I actually had to come back another day and do my irons, my woods fitting on a different day. And last but not least, trust the numbers. The numbers don't lie. So stop being stupid. Just know that you will walk out of there with the right clubs and that you are going to be able to walk out of there with proof that they are the right clubs for you. And that for me is basically the best thing ever. One con about Club Champion. They are very, 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 very expensive. And we are gonna go through some of the reasons why they're so expensive in the Q&A at the end. So go ahead and skip over there if you wanna know why. But there is something that is worth mentioning. You can get fitted at Club Champion, get your results, but not get the clubs from them. So you can take that paper, do with it whatever you want, order them from somewhere else, I don't know, whatever. But you are not obligated to buy the clubs from them. So even if you just want to get fitted and just have all that data, you can do that. Just pay for the fitting and then walk away. So that's an option out there, and we will be answering all their questions at the end of the video. So make sure to jump over there when you are done. Ready for some Q&A? Let's get started. I am a high handicap golfer. How good should I get before I get a club fitting? Go.
You don't need to get that good as long as you can give me some consistent swings. Actually, by fitting your swing, your basic swing parameters are going to stay the same even if you take some lessons. We may need to tweak your clubs after the fact after you take some lessons and get a little bit better, but you're actually going to see more of an improvement than a lower handicap. It's going to be more visible. Your scores are going to go down. A lower handicapper is probably going to see more of a disbursement tightness. We may get them to hit a little bit further by hitting the center of the club, but more often than not, those high handicappers are the ones that it's very noticeable.
What is the difference between stock and aftermarket shafts? Now, this is the question of the century. Obviously, Lorraine was able to give me some information about it, but I wanted to do a little research on my own. So, aftermarket versus stock shafts. Let's start by talking about aftermarket shafts. So, they are made with the manufacturer's premium technology, with their best materials, and designed to meet the standards and expectations of touring pros. Basically, they're the best of the best, and they're made in very small quantities, which is why they're so expensive. Now, stock shafts, they're basically the opposite. They're made in large quantities in a factory somewhere, and their expectations and guidelines are not very defined. So they could vary a lot from one year to another or from one shaft to the other. In fact, you could be getting the same shaft manufactured by different shaft companies in different factories from a year to the next. So their standards are just not very consistent. You never really know what you're gonna be getting. But because these are manufactured in large quantities, they're a lot cheaper. So is it worth it? Well, that is something that you have to decide for yourself. I'm putting a couple of links to different articles in the description of this video, so make sure to go check it out. Really cool information. But there's this particular article that really stuck with me. So in this particular study, the subjects that were using aftermarket shafts were able to increase their club head speed by 1.36 miles per hour faster than when they used stock shafts. Also, their ball speed was 2.66 miles per hour faster, and they hit the ball 9.63 yards longer. So there seems to be a correlation between, I guess, consistency and a little bit of length when it comes to aftermarket shafts versus stock shafts. But at the end of the day, it's your decision whether you want to spend a couple extra $100 for whatever results you might be getting. So make your decision. Let me know what you guys decide in the comments below. Why is Club Champion so expensive? During this whole process, while I was documenting the fitting process on social media, I was getting a lot of messages and comments about how expensive Club Champion is. Some people thought it was a ripoff. Some people were just not happy about it. They were like, I'm not spending that much money on gloves that I could be getting for cheaper somewhere else. But there is a reason for that. So I want to start by saying that you can get fitted at Club Champion, pay the fitting fee, and not buy the clubs from them. That is an option. You can take your results and get the clubs built somewhere else for cheaper. But why is Club Champion so expensive? So we have a couple of reasons. Number one, all of their shafts are aftermarket shafts. So we already talked about this, how aftermarket shafts are just a lot more expensive for a lot of reasons, but Club Champion doesn't deal with stock shafts. So remember, you're gonna be getting the best shafts with the best accuracy and all of that stuff. Now, their clubs are built in Chicago by a group of experts that are going to make sure that they're built to the tightest tolerances to guarantee that your specs are the ones that you actually got fitted for. So if you get your clubs from, I don't know, a manufacturer or somewhere else, you might not have the precision and the guarantee that those specs are met, but with Club Champion, you absolutely will. Another really big factor is that your clubs are gonna be delivered within 7 to 10 days. I've had clubs that I've ordered from a manufacturer take a month and a half to get to me. So that quick turnaround, I think it's a big plus. And also, there's this thing called the perfect fit guarantee that says that if the clubs don't meet your expectations, you can bring them back and they'll make it right, or they will give you new clubs. So this is something that I'm giving you all of the reasons why they're so expensive. Again, it is your decision to determine whether that extra cost is worth it. But just know that if you don't think it's worth it, you can still get fitted at a place like this and then take your results somewhere else. But just know that if you do get fitted and get your clubs from Club Champion, you're going to be getting all of these benefits, which is pretty cool. Why are Club Champion fittings conducted indoors? Another big con that I was getting from you guys on social media during the fitting process was the fact that Club Champion does their fittings indoors. So listen to me on this one. I completely understand the appeal of being outside and seeing the ball fly and all of that stuff. But whether you're doing your fitting inside or outside, make sure that you have accurate TrackMan numbers. You should not be picking a club based on your ball flight on like 5 shots. Make sure that you have all of the necessary information to, make the right decision, because there are a lot of factors like spin and ball flight and all that stuff that you can't really see from hitting a ball. So TrackMan numbers, very important. So why does Club Champion fit you inside as opposed to outside? So they want to get rid of as many environmental distractions as possible. That's why everything inside is consistent at all times. But if you're outside, you have wind, you have humidity, you have atmospheric pressure, you have altitude, all of these things that could potentially affect your TrackMan numbers and kind of like lead you into the wrong path when it comes to reading the results. So that is a really good reason to me. I understand it. I think that it makes sense. And I want to have the best possible fitting so that I can walk away with the right club selections. And if I can't see the ball fly, that's totally okay with me as long as I know that I have the most accurate results. How do I determine if my clubs need an upgrade? I need an upgrade.
Well, what we would do is we get you in here with your current club or clubs, compare the numbers. We're going to have you hit some shots with your current clubs, and then we try shafts and try club heads, and we make sure the numbers get better.
I am a beginner lady golfer. Can a fitting help my game? Let's talk about the ladies.
Ladies, come in. You've all been put in ladies clubs for years. Ladies clubs may not be right for you. As we can show you with Carolina's swing, we actually wound up with men's regular, men's standard length, and a stiff flex in her driver. So it's not necessarily the fact that you're a lady. We need you to come in.
All right, get in here, ladies. Does Club Champion do golf ball fittings? Playing with.
We don't actually offer a golf ball fitting itself. We incorporate it as part of our club fitting. So when we're actually have you in the hitting bay, we're asking questions on ball flight. We're looking at the numbers on spin. So we know if you change the ball, some of those numbers may change. So we're going to try to get you in the correct ball too.
Love it. Will my ball flight change if I get new golf clubs? Your ball flight.
Well, it can. If it's a bad ball flight, we can make it better. But then again, like with a driver, or even your irons, if you have a pretty consistent ball flight that you like to see out of that, then we can do adjustments to the club to give you that ball flight that you're looking for, as long as it's good numbers.
And that's it for this week. I hope that you guys find the information in this video as interesting and helpful as I did, and I hope you take it into consideration the next time that you're considering to get new clubs. Also, I have 2 more fitting videos coming up, one about my woods and my driver, and another one about my putter. Really cool stuff, I promise, mind-blowing. Definitely check those out. But in the meantime, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and leave a comment in the section below. And if you guys have any questions, send me an email at fitgolfergirl@gmail.com. See you guys next week. Mwah.